Okay, everyone, welcome to the video about my STEM bus field experience. So just some context for it. I went to Fairview Elementary last Tuesday, so that would have been the 24th, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong, the 25th. I went on the 25th of October to help with the STEM bus. So, like I said, I was at Fairview and we worked with the third grade class there. And their activity was so first they learned about coins. And second, when we actually went out to the maker bus, they they drew what they wanted their coin to look like on a just 8 by 11, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. There was a circle in it, and they drew what they wanted their coin to look like. And then that image was scanned and it was burned into wood using a laser cutter, which super cool for me, and I bet it was really cool for those third grades we helped as well, because that was probably super alien to them. So some questions I need to answer for this. Oh, I want to. Okay, there we go. All right. So, how did you provide help to the teacher and or the students? So, in the beginning, when Beth was demonstrating how to do stuff and giving her lesson on coins, essentially, I sat in the back and moved the slideshow for her, which wasn't much, but it was still something for the lesson to help the teacher. And, just overall, not necessarily wrangling kids, but making sure they stayed on topic. And how did you use the technology? So where I was, we didn't necessarily use the technology. Beth was really helping with that. We were more keeping the kids engaged while they weren't using the laser cutter, like making sure they were drawing on their paper for the coin, working with that kind of stuff, and then activities while they waited. So me and another girl that worked there at the same time, they had set up like a fake cash register. So it was really teaching them how to count money, which some of them were pretty familiar with and others were slower with it. But, we also had some extra help there in the form of a not necessarily teacher's aid, but an extra hand to help, which I really appreciated. And how would I change um, to teach the same content in the future? Um, I don't know if I would change it too much. I think Beth did a really good job of explaining different coins and what goes on coins and really focusing on how much it's worth and how many of one coin turn to one coin, like, um, 25 pennies is a quarter, really basic stuff like that. And so, what we did well with, or what I do well with, I would say I did pretty well with keeping them engaged, keeping the students engaged, interacting with them so they weren't just sitting there doing nothing, But then again, that is also something I could have struggled with because a lot of them did want to do their own thing. But for the most part, I think I did pretty well keeping them engaged. And how will I improve it next time? Well, now I know that age range. Obviously, I haven't been a third grader in quite a few years, so it's hard to get in that mindset. But once you're there, you pretty easily get into that mindset and understand what they want to do and how you can keep them engaged with what you actually want them to do. And what did you learn and how will this contribute to your own professional identity as a teacher? So I want to teach secondary education, so like middle and high school. So I don't feel like it was super relevant, at least this age range was super relevant to how I would go, but it still gives me an understanding of how much you have to keep these students engaged with everything. And so for the next slide is the photos. And so Beth said we could take photos while we were there and just make sure the kids' faces weren't in there. So I made sure to do that. All right, so right over here where you see my mouse, that was, or my clicker mouse, yeah, same thing. As you can see, they worked with, there's a cash register right there, and they had goods for different prices, and we'd hand out some coins, and they'd have to essentially pay us back for whatever they want in there. Obviously, they couldn't keep it. And then over here, someone else was helping. They would, and the clay, they would etch their design of the coin into the clay just to keep them engaged with all that stuff. And this lady over here, that is actually, fun fact, that is actually my girlfriend's sister-in-law. So that worked out super well because this was the one that best worked for me. And then just a quick bonus picture because I think it's awesome. Del Rainbow, when we were headed to there, I took an Uber and he's like, "Oh my gosh, do you see this rainbow?" And bam, whoop, and there's tiny one. There's some other better pictures, but I think this is the best one to show the actual rainbow. So that is it for my presentation. Hopefully that hit all the points that you needed. And overall, I'd say I really enjoyed this experience. I thought it was good to show what it actually kind of is to be a teacher. Obviously, this is barely scratching the surface, but it's still being in that school setting. And even if I don't continue with a major in teaching, which I am considering switching to a counseling major, it still shows how you're working with students and how that helps you, and just getting that experience, which is a big point of this and which I really enjoy. All right, so thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.